Hi, Unrequited 2. This is Symbolic here. I'm responding to your video, which was a response video to, who was it? Love B. Scott. Love B. Scott. And his video was a response to um, a recording of Reverend Wright. So listen, I thought I would do this for a couple of reasons. One, talking about the race of Jesus. If you go different places in the world, you'll find Jesus depicted in the art and in the icons, with features that are similar and akin to the local people. The artists do this, and I think it's probably because it makes it easier for the local people to identify with Jesus. And maybe there's just a natural tendency for people to project their own features into the object of love or worship. So you'll find Jesuses with different skin tones in Russia and Italy and Germany, and with different colored hair and with different textures of hair. Um, and in My grandfather is from Catalonia, Spain. In his region of Spain, they worship the Black Madonna and the Black Jesus, and they're beautiful statues and art paintings um, of the Black Mary and Black Jesus. Beautiful, dark, smooth, ebony, jet black skin, just gorgeous. Um, so they worship a Black Jesus and a Black Madonna, and that's in Spain. So, um, so so there's a good example. So Jesus could have been black. Who knows? No one knows. I think this is kind of a risk uh, in a religion that states that God came to Earth and took a human form in one particular group. Um, that will always raise ethnicity as an attribute. If you believe in God, I think you believe that God is beyond race. You know, um, but it suddenly becomes an issue if that God comes to Earth in human form. So that's an unfortunate. Unfortunate thing. There are religions that forbid the depiction of God in human form. Um, they don't risk that. They probably risk other things in those religions, but they don't risk that particular issue. It just doesn't come up as an issue where people start to identify Jesus with their particular race and their particular features, physiognomy. Um, as to left brain, right brain stuff, I watched the original video that Wright did twice, and there's no mention in that video of of different races using different sides of the brain. So I don't know where that came from. It wasn't in that video. I don't know whether he said it or not. It would have to be researched. I wouldn't know where to find it. And it doesn't really matter. Um, I personally believe that of course we all use both sides of our brain, the bicameral mind. We have the right side for the intuitive, and we have the left side for the analytical. And the great thing is to be able to use them both together and to come up with a synthesis, which is more powerful than either of the two are separately. So that's the real key. Um, you'll find response videos to Love B. Scott's original video that address different perspectives on child development and observations that people who are teaching children and studying to teach children and studying child development have. You'll see that. But in any event, I don't know whether he said it. It's not important. Um, um, he's not responsible for the racism in the society, at least in the United States, and I'm sure other places. Racism has been deeply entrenched. People are in denial about it, but it's been deeply entrenched for centuries. And what's happening is whenever people speak out about it and confront it directly, it makes people so uncomfortable that it's hard for people to listen to, and it's hard for people to see beyond that into whatever is being said on a deeper level. Especially if the words white and black are used, people feel categorized, then they feel offended, and it's difficult. They close down, you know. Um, but I recommend you watch the right video again. If any uncomfortable emotions arise, try to put those aside and watch what he's saying. Watch how he sculpts what he says. It's very interesting. If you look at it as sculpted rhetoric, accompanied by rhythm and repetition of a point, it's a very powerful form of rhetoric. if you look at it that way as sculpture and look at the topology of it, it's interesting. I think you'll find it interesting. Now, a lot of the stuff that he said is factually true. I mean, Rome was ruled by rich Europeans. The Romans, that they were governing that whole area. That was a province that they governed. The United States, modern United States, is basically the people with the power is a very small number of people. The people with the wealth is a very small number of people, maybe 2% of the population who own something like 85% of the resources. And they happen to be Caucasian. Watch how he draws a parallel between that particular power structure in ancient Jerusalem and the power structure here in modern America. He's drawing a parallel, which is kind of interesting, and a lot of it's factually true. Most of the things he says about Obama and Hillary and the struggles that they had to go through is true. I mean, factually, it's true what he says. There are things that Obama has had to go through as a black man in the United States that Hillary would never go through. Of course, Hillary's been through things that Obama would not go through too. But he's emphasizing one side of the equation. He's basically supporting Obama in the speech, so he's giving it from that angle. But I recommend you watch it again, and as I say, look at it as a rhetorical argument. There's always, whenever you're up on stage, there's a little theater involved too, so it's also a theatrical performance. Um, think of the audience he's speaking to, and just watch it. It's fascinating. So that's the story. That's what I wanted to say. Um, I'll end the video now. Take care.